Hey guys, this is Katrina Lee with IdeateTV here at San Diego Comic-Con, and I'm with the cartoonist Willie Ito. Hey Willie.
Hey, hi. Hi, good to see you guys. I'm having a ball here.
Well, it's such a pleasure and honor to meet you because I've heard so much about your work as especially as an Asian American artist myself, creative. I would say I'm no painter like you.
Oh, well, that's quite an honor to be selected as one of your interviewees.
Thank you. So I wanted to know how you started actually as an artist because like growing up in a strict Asian background, family background, I wanted to be in something like this, but how was your family background in this?
Well, it started when I was 5 years old, when I first saw Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs on the big screen. And when I saw the seven little men walking across the screen singing hi ho, I said, that's it. That's what I want to be. Not one of the seven dwarfs, but an animator.
And so like your track, when you went into animation, how was that for you? Was it easy? Was it hard? Was it challenging?
Well, I have to say, being Asian American and having been incarcerated during World War II, I had not much to do in camp but to take the Sears and Roebuck catalog, and in the margins I would make a little animation, and I made my own little flip book. That was my very first foray into the art of animation. After we came back from camp, I'm growing up in a Japanese American community. My family, my friends were all Japanese. My neighborhood was Japanese. And outside of going to school and coming home, going to Japanese school and the whole bit. So when it came time to come down to Los Angeles to attend art school, I was a little intimidated, not knowing how someone like me that was incarcerated during the war and was given, a little bit of a rough title, And so with a little reluctancy, I did come down. But when I applied at Disney Studio and I was hired, I was only 19 years old. I never expected to be hired. I figured I just wanted to see the inside of the studio. And then 4 years after attending Chouinard's, which today is the California Institute of the Arts. And so, but then they looked at my student portfolio, and 2 weeks later, I was hired. I reported that Monday morning. I took a series of tests in the morning, and then after lunch I came back to my desk and they said, well, you're hired and we will start you in the lady unit.
Whoa.
Well, I didn't know what...
Yeah, what does that mean?
Yeah, well, see, the ink and paint department was all ladies. And so I thought, well, maybe that might be an entry level, starting in inking and painting, then I'll move into animation. Well, I didn't know that there was a film called Lady and the Tramp in production. And so I was assigned, and ironically, the fella that hired me, and he ended up being my mentor, was a fellow Japanese American who spent his 3 years at Manzanar, which is a camp right here in the Sierras. And but he was much older than me, and he was hired right out of camp because his abilities were such that, Disney would have really missed the beat not hiring him. And so I felt less intimidated when I heard Iwo Takamoto was working at the studio. And then the rest is history. The very first scene I was assigned to work on was the iconic spaghetti kissing scene. And Iwo Takamoto, being a taskmaster, he was a perfectionist. And in the training that I got, I felt helped my career, because after Disney, I went to work at Warner Brothers, worked on the Looney Tunes series with Chuck Jones, and I was quickly elevated to assistant animator. And then when Disney called me back and said, we're ready to go on Sleeping Beauty, we're inviting you to come back. And I said, well, I'm now doing assistant work, and would I be able to come back for that category and that pay range? They said, well, you know, you left as an in-betweener. We will give you the next step up, which is a breakdown. And I said, well, does that mean I would have to take a cut in pay? Which it did. So I said, well, then in that case, sayonara. And so I just moved on from Warner's. I went to Bob Clampett on the Beanie and Cecil, then Hanna-Barbera for the following 14 years. And but in 1976, after 22 years in animation, I kind of felt I was burnt out.
Oh, so creative artists actually get burnt out a lot.
Yeah, because see, when you work in the television medium, it's schedules, budgets, you have to meet air dates and all that. And so the pressure was really a little relenting. And you know, I just kind of felt like, well, I still like to draw, but I don't want to be working in a factory. Right. So I went back to Disney and worked in the Disney's comic strip department. And from comic strip, we started the Disney Consumer Products and worked in, you know, the merchandise and all. And so that ended up as a 23-year career back at Disney. And fortunately, on the Disney dime, I was able to travel the world, because we have Disney offices all over the world, all throughout Asia. And so I had the opportunity to, you know, work with the people at Hong Kong, Tokyo, Singapore, Thailand, you know, all these great countries I would have never visited on my own.
Well, very cool. Thank you so much, Willie. It's an honor, pleasure to learn of your story and, you know, what you've been through and like how you became such an established artist, even as in your experience at the Japanese internment camp. That's very inspirational and encouraging. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much, you guys.
All right. Thank you, guys. This is Katrina with IdeateTV.